Okay, so we're going to talk about LeBron and the Lakers. Let's just talk about LeBron. LeBron has had a great season, bounce back season from last year. He wasn't a great leader, wasn't himself, wasn't concentrated, wasn't focused. But this season he came back strong, better mindset, better conditioning. More motivated than what he was the past season. He doesn't look as frustrated, especially with the young guys out. LeBron, I just don't think he was comfortable with the young guys. I think they weren't playoff ready yet. But one thing I really want to specifically talk about is LeBron is not the MVP of the league. He's not. The MVP this season, hands down, is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is the best player in the league now. Whether you want to debate that or not, he's probably top 2, top 3, but he's definitely, to me, the best player in the league. And people want to talk about, oh, well, LeBron, he's the leader of the Lakers. He's the leader, but he's not the best player on the Lakers. He's not the best player on his team anymore. It's Anthony Davis. LeBron is just teaching Anthony Davis. Now, is LeBron still great in his own right? Yes. But he cannot bring it every single night like he used to. That's not the same LeBron in the Cavs uniform, slashing to the bucket, dunking over anybody. He has to have time to rev up in the game. That's why you see him feeding Anthony Davis early on in the games and him finishing late, because he doesn't have the juice anymore to carry a team 4 quarters throughout the night. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what happened last season. He had to carry these young guys. And not saying that Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball and before Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma wasn't doing their thing, but he had to really rev it up, you know what I'm saying, and push himself at that age to get them to where they needed to be. And that's why he probably got injured, because he had to push himself. Yes, he was in bad condition to me, unfocused, sipping wine at the game. I thought that was a little doing too much I think that was LeBron's little circus thing that he gets into sometimes, I think LeBron can be unfocused and people try to not give him that criticism, but LeBron does stuff to me that doesn't bring out the best in people. Now, LeBron is a great leader, and I still think he can still carry. This is not his last season. He can win a championship neither. This is definitely not the last season. LeBron is still in pretty great shape. He takes care of himself. He spends, what did they say? Almost $2 million on his body. Trust and believe. Tom Brady's playing football right now, and he's playing until he's 45. So LeBron will be straight. He's going to play into his 40s. And I still think he probably has 4 more championship not championship rings, but 4 more championship contending years left. And I think he can win at least 2 or 3 more before it's all said and done. Now, today, if you've been watching, or yesterday, whenever this video is uploaded, they got blown out by the Utah Jazz, and which was, to me, that game wasn't even nothing, man. They was probably coasting. I think they were taking a little break because they wanted to face the Rockets, because the Rockets are more of a prove it game. You know what I'm saying? To show everybody that hey, we're that team, you know what I'm saying? Just like they brung it to the Clippers, they really had to win that game, and I think they're going to really show up when they face the Rockets. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to win, but you're going to see a better effort in them, you know what I mean? The Thunder weren't really a threat to the Lakers, but the Rockets are, you know what I mean? They have championship aspirations, and I love the Rockets, and they're a great team, but I think the Lakers have the edge. Now, the problem with the Lakers right now, I still think they're shooting. I don't know where the shooting is going to come from. They do have Danny Green. They just picked up J.R. Smith, and they have Dion Waiters, but the shooting still is kind of shaky. And I'm just wondering how can they compete with the healthy Clippers team, even though they haven't had Harold, or they haven't had Lou Williams those first 2 games. You should expect them to be back. Or Montrez, Lord rest in peace, his grandmother, you know what I mean? I hope the best for his family and stuff. And You just don't know if he's going to come back. But if he does, you expect that Clippers team to be a way deeper team. Pat Beverly just got hurt, and I know that's a big blow. But I think with Reggie Jackson filling in for a Pat Bev, that still gives you a. It doesn't give you the defensive presence in the defensive presence on the squad, and I think the leadership that Pat brings to that squad, and that junkyard dog mentality. But Reggie Jackson does definitely offers more scoring punch for that team. The Lakers, I think the only thing I think LeBron, he's getting Anthony Davis ready for that mentality of taking over a playoff series, because LeBron knows when the playoffs start, and I think the first round is not going to be the toughest. It's not going to be a challenge for the Lakers. You're going to probably see a 3-1 series, or I'll give the team whoever they're facing. I'm going to figure out who they're facing soon. But when the seeding is done and stuff, who they're facing. But I don't expect no more than probably that team winning one or two games. You know, they're probably going to face the Brooklyn Nets. And that's really nothing. You know, they're going to go 4-0 in the Brooklyn Nets. They're not even going to compete. And you're going to see LeBron, you know, he's going to get revved up. You're going to see playoff LeBron. You're definitely going to see him intensify. And, you know what I'm saying, he's going to be a different monster. You know, LeBron turns up in the playoffs, and that's just a known fact. But those first 2 rounds, you're going to see LeBron coasting. But he's going to be teaching Anthony Davis to finally teach him how to dominate. Because Anthony Davis has only won one playoff series, and that was against the Portland Trailblazers when they swept them in the first round. But Anthony Davis, he has to just show me that he can finally dominate and show me that he can carry that team. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be up to Anthony Davis. It's not going. We know LeBron, what he can bring, but the biggest person that matters on the Lakers is Anthony Davis. Can he dominate when the time comes? You know, big playoff moment, big bucket. And we seen it in college when he was in Kentucky. I remember that game. He didn't really score too much, but he dominated in his defensive presence. And that's what I want to see Anthony Davis. Dominate inside, dominate outside, dominate on the defensive rebound, and show me that you're one of the top 5 players that people be talking about. Because all I've heard was Anthony Davis, the top 5 player, but he can never carry a team to the playoffs. And everybody's going to use the excuse, well, you know, look at the Pelicans teams that he had, and look at this he had. And I'm like, okay, but if you're a generational talent player like Anthony Davis, you're telling me you can't make the playoffs more than 2 times that you've been in the league 7 times? And let's not forget that Anthony Davis has had injuries, and that's one of the reasons the Pelicans haven't made the playoffs. Not saying that the injuries are his fault, but he has not stayed healthy in a consistent basis, and that some people sometimes question his toughness. You know what I mean? And that's one thing about Anthony Davis. He has to prove that he has that mental toughness. Does he have that mentality to take over games? Because sometimes I feel like Anthony Davis gets lost, and I think LeBron is trying to show him the way, just like D. Wade had to show LeBron to change his mentality. And I think that's what's going to be the biggest issue with the Lakers, you know. And I do expect Danny the Green, and you know, it's the bubbles. The guys are still in the bubble, are still getting adjusted, getting their basketball bodies right. And then, you know, the playoffs is almost 5 games away, and a lot of guys are still trying to find their shooting and stuff and their footing on the court. So you should expect the Lakers to use those last 4 games to really turn up and get those engines running. And I think their biggest enemies right now in the Western Conference is definitely going to be the Clippers. You know what I mean? But we'll see, man. I just want to thank y'all. Subscribe if you like it. Leave your comments. I'm glad I will take any comments. MC Tone out. Thank you.